Joe, man, we're here. We got the Q&A section. This is what we're doing today, yeah?
Yep. Here for it.
This is one I like. This type of stuff. The Q&As, engaging with the people, engaging with the community. Let's go, man.
All right, cool, man. The first question that we've got here is from @UnitedCon, and the question is: would you trust the process with Amorim and invest some money into his players, or hold off until the winter?
100% invest. Have to. You can't give a man a job and then not invest in his project. Yeah. You've got to invest in his project. If he's going to foul, let him foul using his tools, using his players. Mm-hmm. You can't let him foul and he's using another man's players. Doesn't happen. Yeah. So 100% United con I'm with supporting Amorim. Yeah. And so it doesn't work with his players.
Yeah, and I think where United have finished, it's clear that there are players that need him. You need him.
Yeah.
You know, like if, for example, you were in like Liverpool's situation, then there's an argument where you go, well, actually, you know what, like they've just won the league or they've had a good squad. You got here @BryCharmer. He's asking, where would you advise Jack Grealish to play next season? This is a good one, you know.
Jack Grealish, I would advise to play where he will be happy. He needs to find happiness, I think, with himself playing football, but also within the team. And I don't think any player's happy when they're not playing, especially the player that's been used to being the star man in their team. Since he was a kid, he'd have been star man. So to think that he's now not even being considered for big moments and big games, I think he needs to go where he's going to play and he's going to find happiness. Because at the end of your career, I think, yes, you do want trophies, but at the same time, you want to be happy doing that as well. You want to feel a part of it. I want to see that smile and that swagger and that enjoyment factor when he plays football again. And I don't think we've seen it for a while.
If you are thinking of a club for him and it's not City, would Villa not be the option, or what is the club that comes to mind?
Villa would be great for him, but again, if they don't sell anyone, where does he fit in right now? Because unless they get rid of obviously Rashford, but then Morgan Rogers plays out there as well.
Do you think they've moved on at this point?
I would like to see it where he gets a bit of a free role. If there's a team out there that can afford to play a structure where goes back to that almost like a 10 or one of the 8 positions that's allowed to just roam a bit, that's what I would do with Jack Grealish. Because I think if you play him more centrally and you just give him a bit of freedom, like we saw when he was at Villa, the kid can unlock. He can unlock, man. He can hurt teams,
man. Because when I'm looking at the teams now, it's really hard to say where he would get that freedom.
If I'm him, you know where I'll go?
Go on.
Saudi.
Yeah.
If I'm Jack Grealish, I'm going Saudi, bro. I'm getting my feet in the sand.
Yeah, but if you love a drink, is that the place to go?
Yeah, but he likes to drink in the off-season, bro. Does he like it in the in-season? Do you know that?
Stop.
No, do you know? No, but it's not. He won't be driven by. Can I go somewhere if I? Well, he's not alcoholic, bro.
No, it's lifestyle.
He's not alky.
No, I didn't say he was an alky. Come on, don't say that. But it's like lifestyle, isn't it? Like because
bro,
they're strict with their drinking, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's fine. The culture is very different. But listen, I'm sure he's a man who can adapt to a different culture. He's going to still have holidays, still be able to go elsewhere. Like, I don't think he'll be driven by, there's no alcohol being served there, right, I'm not going.
But the funny thing is, it's like, yeah, some people, they've got a particular way they like to live their life. And I'm not saying it's just drinking. It could be other stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you know how those guys move. They're known to be very, rigid. That's how they do things in their country, right? And if, for example, you have a man that wants to be a little bit free and, he moves how he moves, I don't know if he's gonna. If that is, I don't know. It's a genuine question. Don't shoot me down for asking a question. I could be wrong, innit? Like, so educate me, innit?
I don't think that's going to be a consideration.
Is it?
But I'm saying if I was him, I'm probably going Saudi right now.
I say go like Italy or Spain. I think if he goes there,
I'd love to see him in Napoli.
Yeah, that's what
with
I'm saying.
That atmosphere and that.
A place where he can be loved and he can do what he's going to do.
Like, Marseille. De Zerbi.
Yeah.
Where I know the fans will love him.
Exactly. Olympique Marseille, somewhere like that.
Go and play there, man.
Oh, man.
Anyway, at Essential Fertilizer, hello from Ghana. Yeah, shout out to Ghana.
GH in the building.
As players, how can you tell if a manager is good or not? Is it a feeling? Oh, good question, It could be one training session. It could be a week. It could be a couple of months. Something will happen that you go, that don't smell right. That don't look right. What's that about?
Now, before you carry on,
Yeah.
we're not necessarily saying the managers you've played under, because you've mentored a lot of people, you've got kids in football, you've got friends that have played with under loads of other managers. If you can give us, it doesn't have to be a person, but examples in training, what would tell you in training this guy and the guy?
Well, listen, David Moyes obviously came to Man United and it didn't work out for him. And this isn't to kind of badmouth David Moyes. I think he's proven that he's a wonderful manager, top manager. What he's done at West Ham, what he's done at Everton before this time now, and now this time has been like nothing short of like remarkable. He's been a joke. But when he came to United, I just remember and this is a difference between managing clubs at that level compared to managing somewhere like Man United, which is the back of winning a Premier League.
Yeah.
He came into that environment. And there was one training session that we had that made me go, I don't like this. We were playing against, I've said this before on the pod, but we were playing against Chelsea and they had Eden Hazard, danger man, right? And in the training session, we had a walkthrough. So you got 11 of our players who were playing against theirs. So we got 11 Chelsea players. And he marked out like a 10 by 10 box on the training pitch in the area that Eden Hazard occupies most of the time and where he receives the ball. And he said to Tom Cleverley, don't move from there. When we haven't got the ball, that's where you got to be, because Eden Hazard will be there. We want you to make sure you look after him. And I just thought, this isn't what we do, man. And you're going to do it next week against Coutinho when we play Liverpool as well. And we done it 2 weeks on a spin. And I was like, we don't go into...
Did you win those games or lose? Or?
Can't remember. We don't go... The result would not have mattered to me. Because it's like, we're going into this game worrying about the opponents. We never do that. And it wasn't like, oh, look after him, but when we get it, I want you to get on and I want you to impact the game like this. It was all really focused on you stopping. And that just weren't the mentality of us as a man. And people that say this was the worst Man United team that won the Premier League, etc., you can say that, but our mentality still wasn't this contain an individual. It was like, we're better than most teams. We're better than, if not all teams. We can go toe-to-toe. We'll play. And it was a shift in mentality that I was like, that's a bad smell to me. And obviously it played out how it played, and that wasn't the only factor that meant that. But there are situations, like the question was, as players, how can you tell if a manager is good or not? I think you can tell if he's right or wrong for you. And that was one that said to me, this isn't right.
And were you the only player that felt like that, or did you have that
a
little
lot
chat
of
with other players and you looked and you went,
there's a look straight away in training when he's talking about it and the players are like that. And like then all of a sudden you get in the steam room, you get in the pool, you're on the massage bed and people are chatting. It's like, right, this was a bit of a mad one, wasn't it? And then it's like people start talking. So
and that deals
and that ain't good, because then it becomes a bit of a cancerous environment and it starts spreading and negativity starts coming into the place. And I think that's what happened, and that affected them. That wasn't the only thing. There's a few things like that happened, and I think David Moyes, I think in time will probably go, I could have done this, that, and that different. But that's all with hindsight. It's much easier to talk like that and say that. But
is that clip true that you guys were watching? He made you watch the
no, Phil Jagielka. No.
Why did that come up? Why
I don't
was
know.
that such
I think
a big
it was just
rumor?
like it was like it would have been a meme today type thing. Do you know what I mean? It was just like what am I going to watch with Phil Jagielka and learn? Hey Phil? No, I'm joking. No, shout out Phil. I done the Everton game the other day of him.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some golf.
But no, there was no video from Phil Jagielka.
You got a next one.
At Mind Aucklandia. What was the moment, by the way, these names are trying to test us. Yeah. What was the moment you realised you were actually good? When your confidence started to go up? I've said this a few times, yeah. I always knew I was one of the better players in all the teams I played in. The only place I was never the best player, but one of the better ones, was on my estate. Because all my friends are older than me. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5 years older than me, and sometimes even I was playing against grown men when I was like 12. So I was never the best. But when I played at my school, when I played for my club teams, I was always one of the best. So I always knew I was one of the best, but I never knew if I was going to make it. So you can always be the best in your teams as a young kid, but are you the best in your team, but are you going to make it? And the answer would have been, I don't know, man, I'm not sure. Then I played one game against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in the Southern Junior Floodlit Cup. It's an under-18s game. It's the second leg. West Ham had lost the first leg, I think, 1-0 or 2-0. And some of the older players went on tour with the first team or went somewhere to Dallas Cup or something. So there was like a few spaces up for grabs for young under-16s players. Myself, I was still at school. I made my way there. The team went on a coach together. I made my way from school in my school uniform to Stamford Bridge. I think I was 15 playing in an under-18s game. Go there.
Centre midfield.
Centre midfield. Batted it up.
Yeah.
I was bad.
Yeah.
On the day. I know. I remember the game now. Drifting past people, shaking people. Whoop, whoop, see you later.
Yeah.
These are players I was playing against. I remember Junior Mendes was in the Chelsea team. He'd been around the first team at Chelsea. So I'm thinking, these men, and I was always like, right, these guys are bad, wicked players. But I played that game and I felt, worst case, as good as everyone on the pitch, if not better than most. And I walked off that pitch that day and I went, if anybody had spoke to me, I'd have looked them in the eye and gone, I will be a professional footballer. I don't know what level yet, but I'm definitely going to be a professional footballer. And I'm looking like minimum champ right now.
Wow.
That's what I was thinking in my head. Because it felt like it just came too easy to me.
Yeah.
And it was like...
Would you say that's a gift, though? Because, everyone talks about training hard. And we have to be very honest here because, don't get me wrong, some players, it don't matter how much you train, and we all love the Cristiano stories. Sometimes it's just not for you, innit? Like, you're looking at the guy right about now, innit? Don't get me wrong, I could play, I'm decent. But at 18... you were already, at 16, you were being called up. Is it England cap? Was it 17?
Yeah, 16.
16. So that's a year or two later, you're being called up in the same camp as Gaza, Shearer, to watch for Euro 96.
I went and trained with them. Yeah, it was just a quick, after that game, it all went like that. And I don't know, confidence is, that's what made me understand confidence. I was confident before that, but I'd go into if I was under 16s, I'd go and play in a youth team and be a little bit rusty under 18s. And then I went into that game, and after that game, everything just became much easier because my confidence, I'm meant to be here. I should be starting for the 18s, not being on the bench. That's how I started thinking. And it was just like that confidence shift was so different. I went training with the under 18s. I get called over to the first team, and I felt natural. I felt like there was a little bit of fear, but there wasn't the mad anxiety, and like sometimes it can overcome a player where they just can't perform.
Yeah.
And every situation from then, I kind of normalised. Because before that, I'd go to trials with England and go to trials with my county, etc. I'd never play well at trials. Too much pressure. I'd go to the trials and I'd never perform because I built them up to be so meaningful and so big that it overwhelmed me. Whereas I played that one game, I don't know why, I just relaxed and the game came to me. I played what was presented to me in the game, played well, and my confidence just went whew. But the foundations of that are hard work, repetition, graft, always turning up, always being there, good or bad days, rain or sunshine, sleet or snow. And then that gives you the platform and foundations to go and have them moments.
At IMZ Mizzy, do you expect Cristiano to win the World Cup in America in 2026?
Wow. They can. They just won the Nations Cup. They just beat the European champions on penalties.
Yeah.
So they can.
Anything's possible.
Will they? I don't know. But they can. They've got the best left back in the world. They've got some of the best midfielders in the world in Neves, in Bruno Fernandes. They've got a deep squad. They've got players who's a bit of a maverick like Rafael Leao can come on and do a madness if he wants. And they've got someone who can always put the ball in the back of the net, and that's Cristiano. So they've got key components. It's just whether it all comes together. I think the manager found out a lot about himself the other day, Roberto Martinez, and I think he doesn't get enough credit in that game. The first half, tactically, he got it wrong. He played João Neves, who's been one of the best midfielders in Champions League this year and in European football. Yeah. Played him out of position, played him right back. He got smoked. Yeah. Right? And you're thinking, how are you playing? You've got Vitinha in midfield, who he played with for PSG, and they cleaned up on everything. And you take him out of that equation, play him right back, because you thought you were going to have a lot of the ball against one of the most possession-dominant teams in the game. But the great thing was, half-time, made a decision, substitution, Semedo comes on, Neves off, fixed it, and then won the game. So he's shown in-game he can fine-tune and find a way to win. So that'll be, I think, a confidence, again, going forward will be a good thing for them.
This one I got to let you read out, because this guy...
Oh, Good Vibes John, what's going on? Good Vibes John, what's going on?
Come on, John.
Hey, Rio, are you coming stateside for the pre-season tour? You know what? It's in the diary right now. It could change, but it's in the diary that I'm coming out there. So make sure you're about. We can have a little cook up if you want. I'll go out for a few beers. 100%.
His content is
He
hilarious,
makes me laugh.
man.
He's a funny
So
guy.
funny,
Keep on doing what you're doing, man. We all see it. So
Yeah.
that's it, man.
Listen, I love the Q&As, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully this encourages you. We're shouting you guys out. We're going to be putting this on socials. Get in the comments. And that's all we can ask, really.
100%.
Yeah.
Comments are always being read. Be in there. Thanks, guys, for listening to this episode of Rio Reacts. Hope you've enjoyed this show. And if you have, make sure you leave us a review and follow this Rio Ferdinand Presents feed to make sure you never, ever miss an episode. If you've got a point you think we should be discussing or want to put us on the spot with a question you want answering, get in touch using the fansfirst@rioferdinandpresents.com email address or use #RFP on social. See ya on the next one.